Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Nicola Scriven, Josh Grant, PJ Scott, Adam Casely, and your host, Hannah Hardiman.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our Fireside Chat with eBay sellers. Now, so that we can make this as useful as possible for you, can I just get a show of hands? Who's currently selling on eBay? Right, lots of you already. How many people are thinking about selling on eBay or not selling on eBay? Oh, wow, okay, so this is good. That means we can make this really useful for you and go into a bit more of the technical side of it. The reason I answered is if there were people who were just thinking about selling on eBay, we might need to just explain a few things as we go through. So what we're going to be doing now is doing a bit of a chat. I've got 4 very experienced eBay sellers either side of me. And we're going to be talking about their history, why they're selling on eBay, how it's working for them. And then we'll talk about some listing optimization tips. We can share what's working for them. And also, because I'm from eBay, I can give you some tips on some of the things that you can do to optimize your listings and get more people viewing your items. We'll also talk about the Promote Your Listings advertising service. And we'll talk about some other tools such as the sale event and the multi-buy or the discount, but we'll be picking up lots of tips as we go. So I think probably the best way to kick this off is to just go along the panel, and if you can just introduce yourselves, and then we'll come back and we'll hear a little bit about your story. So let's start with you, Nicola.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Nicola Scriven from Eternal Moments Jewellery Limited. We specialise in gold, silver, diamond and semi-precious and precious jewellery items. I think the heart of our business is giving customers the opportunity to find something that captures and represents an eternal moment in life.
Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Josh Grant. I'm from Schott Packaging, and we are a packaging supplies company. So we supply both local and national companies, businesses and also consumers for moving home.
Great.
Hi, I'm PJ Scott from ecommerce. So we're an eBay and Amazon marketplace seller with sales of around 30 million. We also have an agency side of the business that helps sellers sell on marketplace.
I'm Adam Casely. I work for Velocity as the marketplace manager. Oversee optimisation on all marketplaces, but also manage the relationship with the brands on part of the agency model.
Great, thank you guys. Now, I imagine there's so many people in the room here that there'll be some of you who've been selling on eBay for a very long time, and others of you who are just getting started. So let's just hear a little bit about how the panel got started on eBay and how it's going. Okay.
I'll kick off. As a brand owner, we basically started on eBay about 10 years ago. Previously, before we started our eBay business, I was working on some major IT consultancy projects, and actually one of them was very interesting. It was setting up an online platform for a healthcare company working with. And I was really inspired by that whole process of having your own online business and decided I can do that. So what shall I sell? And I thought, jewellery. What's not to love, yeah? So I decided I'd start selling jewellery, and after putting my products and brands together, I thought, do you know what? Why would I spend millions of pounds on getting finance to start an online business in the way that I'd been doing that? I can actually just pick a platform like eBay that has 10 international sites that I can get visibility with straight away, fabulous marketing tools, great support, customer support for sellers, all for the mere price of a shop subscription. And that was what I did. So I launched, used fabulous tools like TerraPeak as well to understand what items people wanted in what countries at what price. And very quickly I was able to identify my top 100 sellers and launch really successfully. And literally it only cost me setting up my trade, my brand and having the right products. So really for me, eBay is the foundation of our business, and every new product we start with eBay. And then after we've tested it on eBay, we then move to other channels like, and very shortly our own web shop.
Great, so it sounds like right from the very start you were thinking internationally.
Yes, I think so, because I'd always worked on an international basis in the past with companies that I dealt with the IT projects. And what I saw was, just with the economic climate, you never really know which market is the one that's going to be your best sellers or the one that's going to be your fortune in the company. You don't know. So my view is start internationally from day one, and you'd be amazed at where your business comes from. I mean, who'd have thought we would do nearly as much business in Germany on jewellery as we do in the UK?
Great, and I suppose you don't have all of the added cost of launching a German version of your own website and a French version of your own website. You've got a platform that does all of that.
Exactly, and that was the reason why we started with eBay, because all the translation costs, all the marketing costs in all the different languages. I mean, to actually launch something and make it successful very quickly, it would have taken years organically, whereas I could do it in minutes, literally in months, and have an up and running, thriving business within a year on eBay. Fabulous.
All right, so we'll come back to you and talk about some of the sort of hints and tips that you have along the way. So Josh, can you just tell us a bit about your story?
So we're about 3 years old at the moment. Initially, myself and my business partner's father actually has had a removals business for around about 35, 40 years. He's been in business a long time. He had sort of an overflow of used boxes that were taking up space in his warehouse. And so my business partner decided that where else to get rid of them than on eBay. So started listing some of the used boxes on eBay. I think prior to that, we'd only kind of had experience with eBay as a consumer, so sort of selling, old things that you didn't want anymore, or so we kind of, in the beginning, treated it in the same way, and sort of took to eBay to kind of sell off some of the used boxes that were taking up space. And that was really kind of the part that actually identified that there was a huge demand for people who want to purchase moving products and boxes online. And we realized that some of the bigger stores were charging sort of huge prices for, home moving kits, for bubble wraps, for boxes. And so we kind of identified that, there was really something we could do there. We started developing some kind of all-inclusive packs for people to move home. So packs that would include sort of everything you would need in one place rather than having to go to multiple stores and things. And like I say, with how well the used boxes did online, we then started to purchase some new lines and go direct to manufacturers. And sort of over the last 3 years, we've kind of broadened our product lines, which we still are doing now. Like you say, in the scheme of things, 3 years is still quite a young business for the industry that we're in. So we're still growing, but like I say, we now have a team of 6. We occupy an 11,000 square foot warehouse in the northeast. We're on course to do around about 2 million turnover this year, and eBay accounts for probably around 60 to 70% of that turnover.
Right. And you mentioned in the early days that you'd only come across eBay as a consumer, and you had this perception that it was all kind of used items, people selling their old unwanted stuff, I suppose. Yeah. And that's one of the biggest changes I've seen over the years with eBay, that there's been this massive shift towards brand new. And in fact, the majority of items that are sold on eBay now are brand new. And I think consumers are starting to catch up with that. They're realising that eBay is a place that you can really get a bargain and get new stuff. Yeah,
100%. And like you say, I think that's, a sort of a stigma that will be common in a lot of people who've only ever known the platform as a consumer. And I think now, sort of especially in the press and, some of the articles and some of the press that eBay has had and the sellers have had and the seller stories have had in the last sort of year or two, and the eBay Business Awards, and it's kind of, people are becoming more aware now that eBay really is a platform that can be utilised, and there are a lot of people making not only livings but very, very successful livings from the platform.
Yeah, and I think there'll always be a role for used, antique, refurbished, custom made, all those things on eBay. But I think from a consumer point of view, a lot of what we've been doing in our marketing and our advertising is just to really raise that awareness that it is a place that you can buy brand new, branded items at fantastic prices. Great, thank you. Let's move over to you, PJ.
I'm PJ from Velocity Electronics. So my business partner and I, Eddie, started the business 7 years ago when we worked for a company. Disillusioned with corporate life and being very bored at our jobs, we decided to start a side hustle and invested £1,500 each to buy 1,500 laptop rucksacks. We listed them on eBay 7 years ago. we thought sales would go on to a day and actually be able to pop down the post office on our lunch break and post them out. But very quickly we were doing 20, 40, 50 items a day, and very quickly this side hustle became actually almost we needed to move on to a full-time job. So after a year and a half of doing that, we took voluntary redundancy and focused immediately on just selling on marketplace. Sales went up by 50%. At that point, I think we did 1.2 million in our first Christmas. So we saw extraordinary growth, mainly focusing on clearance products and manufacturer refurbished. The reason we focused with those two aspects at the start was actually to give us a level of control and not get sort of forced into the race to zero. We found actually starting out in the business, actually it's very hard to compete with some of the bigger sellers. So we thought, look, if we can buy the whole market or get a niche, then actually that gives us a very good way to make profit as an early business. From that, once we sort of honed our skills of selling on eBay, we then started contacting brands. So we now manage very, very big brands and actually just helping those guys get across their business very well on marketplace, because I think a lot of those other brands were probably quite late to get on a sort of direct consumer basis. From there, we've launched our own brand, Jewellery, which is an audio brand, which is now in 1.6 million homes. So we feel we've really, we've got sort of both elements of the spectrum covered there. And fairly recently, we've launched an agency model where actually we can help sellers and brands actually get their products away direct to consumer, because I think, as I said, recently launched. They were very late to getting sort of direct to consumer models. It's interesting what you said about the stigma attached. So years we were sort of knocking on the door, and they were like, eBay's just an auction house. And actually, when you show them terribly, you can say, look, this is the size of the market, what size of the market are you? They're under-indexing massively, so I think that's a real opener for those ones.
Great. And Adam, you work alongside PJ?
Yes, I work in for PJ. So previously worked at Vodacom. I guess representing kind of open up the eyes to marketplaces. As that become a new marketplace, there's loads of work going on with like Linn Works and helping sellers who needed to integrate. Obviously went bust. And then I started doing a bit of freelance work for myself before ending up recent agency for a couple of years, helping sellers before joining PJ and Eddie in their quest for world domination.
Great.
I think across over, there's so many brands who can't go direct to consumer, they can't work it out. It's just you guys have got a massive warehouse and stuff to post, and brands just look at you and have a post, and it's just phenomenal. There's such a massive market still.
So they really rely on sellers like you to actually get out into market. And I think certainly for brands and also for a number of people who are selling on eBay, it can be a little bit daunting. There are millions, if not billions, of products for sale on eBay. How do you get found when they're all on listings? And what we've certainly noticed over the years is the way that people are searching for items has changed. People, when they were looking for something very specific, would do a very rich keyword search. But now what we're finding is with so many new items, people are kind of a bit uncertain what they're looking for, so they're tending to use filters an awful lot more than they did before. So where people would be putting words into the titles and also into the descriptions, it's now become much more crucial to use those item specifics fields, so that, I don't know if you're all aware, the item specifics fields are the information that eBay's algorithm relies on to decide what to show when a customer applies a filter. So if they filter by brand, they filter by size, they filter by colour, even if you've got that information in your description text, but you don't have it in the item specifics field that matches that filter, you actually disappear from the search results. So that if any of you are finding that sales are going up and down, or maybe on a decline on certain products, do have a look at those item specifics fields and make sure that they're all completed. We're just changing some things for certain categories so that you won't be able to complete a new listing or revise an existing listing if the really key item specifics information isn't completed. And that's because eBay is very interested in you getting your items sold because we're working basically on a commission model. So we actually want to give sellers enough information to make sure that their listings are performing well. So every time that eBay asks you to do something, it's not just because we're trying to find more work for you to do. It's because we're actually trying to help you to get items sold. So I know all of you have made some changes to your business based on what we've talked about with item specifics. I think Josh, let's go to you first.
Yeah. Yeah, so for us, we kind of became aware of the item specifics quite early on. I think in the beginning, we were almost the skeptic with item specifics because when you have a lot of listings or a lot of products, it can be quite time consuming to really spend the time making sure that all of that information is within the listing. And our listings were optimized in terms of pictures, titles, keywords, but we'd never really spent the time making sure that things like manufacturer part numbers and those kind of item specifics were actually in the listings. And so in the beginning, we thought, to do sort of 350, 400 listings, to add all of this information in, to have no guarantee that it's actually going to do anything and actually affect our sales in any way, was quite a big undertaking. So we were definitely the skeptic in the beginning. And then, we just decided that, look, if we give it a go and it does absolutely nothing, then all we've lost is a few days' work, and actually, if we see a real benefit from this, then it was worth allocating a few days to just solidly going through all of our listings and making sure that not only were the listings optimized, but that we'd also included all of the item specifics, whether they were mandatory or not, just to make sure everything was sort of as full and as informative as we could make it for the customer or the business that were purchasing from us. And we did notice within probably 7 to 10 days of us actually completing all of our listings with that information, that we saw a huge spike in sales across the board, to the point where myself and my business partner were kind of sat there in disbelief a week or two later at the jump we'd had in sales. I mean, in terms of percentage increase, it would be difficult to sort of nail it down really, because we were going through quite a phenomenal organic growth anyway around that time, and I mean we still are to this day, and it's kind of been a snowball effect from more or less from the beginning. So we couldn't sort of accurately say a percentage that we did grow based on the item specifics alone. But it definitely can't have been coincidence, because there was a huge spike for us. Like I say, no more than a couple of weeks, we really noticed the difference. So now, whenever we're listing new products or revising old products, or sort of giving old listings a new lease of life, we do sort of make sure that information is included from the beginning, or if it wasn't in the beginning, we make sure that our listings are optimized in that way, as well as what they look like in terms of images and things. So.
And I think one thing that the item specifics information becomes even more useful for is if you're using the eBay's advertising product, Promote Your Listings. The algorithms that serve the ads are the same ones that are serving Best Match. So the more information that you put in your listing, the more chance you've got of appearing high with your advertised listing as well. So if somebody is applying filters, they're doing a keyword-rich search, you're going to get more opportunity for your ads to get up high as well. So I think that's just, because we've only got limited time now. Nicola, you've had some experience with the advertising Promote Your Listings, haven't you?
Yeah, Promote the Listings. Love it, love it, love it. Really think it's fantastic. We saw a 30% increase in our business based on taking Promote Your Listings. We literally took it from day one, the minute it was available, and we didn't just do it in the UK, we did it every international site that was running it, and as new international eBay sites have come on board to offer that, we've obviously started promoting there as well. For us, I think the model with eBay of shared reward is 10 out of 10. So we'll use Promote Your Listings on a regular basis for items that are selling very well. Surprisingly, probably you'd think, why would we do that? Because as the more you're driving the history in your listings, the more sales you get, the higher you become in Best Match. So we don't take a view necessarily that says as soon as we're successful, we'll turn it off. In fact, actually, we may up the game on that one. Yeah, so we have a sort of a different view to perhaps other people on how we do that. I would say also on the promote the listings is that it's not just based on how much you're prepared to offer eBay, because you can obviously choose your percentage. It's actually based on your success as a seller, on your account and on your item as well, your actual listing. So I would say don't look at it as something that you think perhaps I can't afford to do it. Just say what could I afford to do and try it, because we've tried various different rates and it's made no difference to us appearing and actually making sales on promoted listings.
Okay. And I know that Velocity takes a slightly different approach with the advertising fund.
Yeah, I've got to say, first of all, I was probably the biggest sceptic when it first launched, and I resisted it for ages. I think what's important to know is that, you know, even if you built a business on having or knowing best match inside out and getting your products to appear top of page one, there is a large percentage of views you can actually, incremental views you can get on your listing by using promoted listings. So it's not all about best match. They do appear in a myriad of other places on eBay, which is important to know. Couldn't agree more with Nicola in terms of the percentage. So actually some of our items that sell particularly well, we'll actually put the trending rate down to, we won't match the trending rate, we'll put it down to 1% and we'll still win all of the sponsored listings. So I think that's very key, is it doesn't have to be trending rate. And give it a try, just for a week. So start on a Monday, for example, try it on 5 products, track what your impressions were last week, then track the following week and just see what the difference is. You know, you'll be able to do the cost analysis. One way we do it with particularly good effect, I think, is actually launching new products that don't have a sales history. Sponsor the product again. So obviously, you know, when you list the product, you get 48 hours of a boost in best match. Make sure that when you launch that product, you hammer it home. So sponsor it, do everything you can, launch it with best practice. So make sure, you know, don't come back to the item specifics. Launch the perfect product. Get it so when they do the 48 hours worth of boost, you actually make most of that.
And you mentioned there about level positions that you get featured in. There are a lot of ad slots all over the eBay site, which are only available to promoted listings.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I think it's key to do the test, because actually your position in best match might not change. As I said, you might be top of best match anyway, but actually just do a test for a small amount, and actually you appear in so many other places, that might be the increase that you get.
And I think sometimes people get very hung up on, I need to be number one on best match, but for this particular generic search term, like they might say, I want to be top 4 laptops. But actually, when people are looking to buy, they're not putting laptop in. They've got a very clear spec on what they're looking for.
So again, this is a really interesting one that I always find is, we buy lots of products that I know absolutely nothing about, and I always try and put myself in a generic customer, you know, your mum, your sister, whoever, don't really know what they're shopping for. If you start typing in the generic search term on eBay, they're really helpful. They give you the 3 or 4 most common search things. And actually, you might think, actually, nobody picks that search term. And actually only 10% of people might pick a fairly odd search term, but there's no competition on that search term. So actually if you include that in your listings, you know, you've got 10% of the market to yourself. So just don't be afraid to just auto-populate, look at what eBay's suggesting and then add all of those. Because as I said, the market might be smaller, but you might be 90 or 100% of that market.
Yeah, and getting those keywords into the title is really important. But even if you put it into the title, make sure it's in the item specifics fields as well. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other tools that we can use. So I know that you're actively using things like multi-buy, sale event, order discount. Adam, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you're finding that?
So yes, we use a global multi-buy on all our listings. Obviously, we post 2 items out of our warehouse. We save the postage on one, so we effectively pass on that benefit to the consumer. With a straight 5% discount. And actually, surprising how many people do buy 2 with this stuff, 2 dash cams, one for their car, one for their girl. You know, you wouldn't think it would, but actually offering the offer works there. So that runs globally on everything, which works really well. We have quite a lot of success with sale and markdown events as well. So we'll go out to brands, talk them through, we'll work back with the eBay marketing team, and then, you know, they'll be running an offer for a couple of weeks. You know, to highlight products and really get things moving. We see so much success with that. Even this week, we've probably seen 100% uplift based on one that we just launched this week with a particular brand. And then order discount, we kind of use a bit more tactfully to kind of sell add-on items. So particularly it will be from myself either spend X, save X, knowing that if people buy 2 or 3 of an item and their associated elements, they'll save % or by volume. So buy 3, save X pounds, because again, I know I'm going to include the shipping at some point. So use them differently, not all the time, with the exception of 5%, but tactically put them in now to offer added value to customers.
Great. Now, I think we've only got a couple of minutes left now on the time we've got. So, I think any final top tips for anybody who's listening? Nicola, any top tips from you?
I would say, if you're not working internationally, I would do it straight away.
Okay, so international, excellent.
I would just say, if you've got an idea and you want to start an eBay business with a particular product, don't be put off by the fact that there might be a lot of other established sellers or businesses in your field already. Because I think for us, there was a lot of other companies doing the same thing when we entered the marketplace, almost to the point where, in hindsight, it probably did sort of make us go, well, hang on, you know, are we really going to be able to make a mark in a field that's already so densely populated? But at the end of the day, if you feel as though you can do it better than your competitors, if you feel like you can make your listings look better, if you can develop better product packages, then, you know, it's not about how many people are in the field, it's about how well you do the job in the field. So I would just say kind of go for it if you're kind of hesitant, just give it a go.
And it's not even about being the cheapest all the time, is it?
Not always. You know, I think sometimes, as PJ mentioned, you do kind of get caught in the race to zero. You know, some items are super competitive, and some are quite tough, in the marketplace. But it's not always about that. And we take that view with a number of our products, where we actually say, you know, we're not going to be in the race to zero. We're not going to constantly be priced out, by people knocking them down and knocking them down. We're going to sell them at a price that we're comfortable selling them at. And like you say, we can use tools like the order discount, like the multi-buy, like the promote your listings, as well as optimizing them ourselves in-house to try and get the best performance out of them.
A lot of the time people are looking for one that's got free postage,
Yeah.
long returns, or that the listing looks like it's from a professional company
Exactly,
who is going to be able to help them if they have a problem with
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
So final tips from you guys?
Don't forget mobile. So I'll talk about how sales are done for a mobile device. So stop searching on desktop. Once you've listed a product, to Hannah's point, fill out all the item specifics, search with a generic search term for that item, and then on a mobile device, and then start filtering. So you make sure you've covered all of the item specifics. If you've done all your filtering and you still can't see your product, then there's something wrong there and you need to revisit it.
Great.
I think for me is, promoted listings, 10-15% looks like a lot. It's only on what you sell in the 30 days. We work based on actually what is that pound spend into our total organic sales, because ultimately there'll be some organic growth from promoted ones. So don't get too hung up on the 10%. It feels steep, but actually we work at single-digit % and low single-digit % over a month. Despite having a massive spend.
Great. Well, thank you to all of you. You've shared some fantastic tips. And I think now we're going to go into a short break before we go into the next session. So thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed yourself. And we're on the eBay stand. And if you want to follow us on social, you can follow us at eBay Business UK on YouTube. Thank you.